Check, check. 1 2 1 2.
Boobies.
Well, we're having like a talk show, but we're both on our phones.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
So
That's the new
stupid.
way.
So stupid.
No one talks to each
Well,
other. They just text each other.
Well, I got a fucking, like I said, just a good picture of like, I guess like our champagne moment, if you will. Like, I'm not fucking
cracking the champagne against the bottle.
Yeah, I guess so. And like, the real bitch of that is like, you do it on like Instagram at first, because obviously that's like the first spot you do anything with photos. But then like the problem with that is like, all right, I gotta put you there, do a shout out, and you got your name there on Instagram, at So Crisp, if you want to follow him, if you want. But then I'm like, okay, it's on Facebook, so I'm like, all right, I gotta go on Facebook and then like shout you out on there. So I gotta like edit it, take out your fucking name on like Instagram, and then put your link on Facebook and be like, all right, now people know who the hell you are.
It might just automatically link
No,
me.
it doesn't do that for me anyway. I don't know if you gotta like do something on your end with your profile or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too. Facebook is undergoing way too many changes these days. I don't know.
God.
Like, because first they did the, you can put a color to your status thing, which some people find very annoying and I don't get, but.
Right. Well,
but now I see people doing colors that I can't do. I'm like, why are they doing it like this? Why, why are they only giving some colors to some people? And then, like, there's some people who still can't even do it, probably.
I don't know. It's like,
I
know. We're like, I had to, like, upgrade phones to finally have the luxury to fucking.
That's because you were still on the iPhone.
Exactly. So,
which is weird because usually iPhone gets those features first.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like, it's something so fucking simple. Like, any phone should do this. Honestly, it should be. So it's like, it's more on their end of anything like that. So yeah, there's a bunch of weird shit like that. But I like, it's funny you brought this up because I saw like this thing. I didn't really read the article, but I think it was from like Washington Post and whatever. I think there's some people trying to run. Like, let me see if I can pull up on my my phone. Like a public Facebook, like a PBS of Facebook.
A PBS of Facebook. So what? It's like not owned by a company. There's no advertising. It's just Craigslist.
Yeah. It's from like the taxpayer.
The taxpayer? What?
Well, yeah, that's what like PBS is from, man. Like it's like they get donations, but then like
they get donations.
Right, but it's like I think that's what the title was. So it could be one of those like fucking click on me. Titles, yeah.
Clickbait. That's less dangerous than jailbait.
Whatever. I'm not gonna fucking find it on this.
We'll just speculate on it.
Well, I mean, hold on. Well, yeah, we could do that right now while I'm trying to like suss through this.
Well,
I mean, like,
I just don't understand. What's the purpose? They want people to.
Well, I think the whole. It's like the whole thing. It's like maybe it wasn't the Washington Post, maybe it was something else. I think the whole idea is like it's made like by the people for the people type of shit, where it's like, all right, all these features and all this bullshit you guys don't want, like no ads, no nothing, like no like how like how Google or like how this like cookies work and shit like that, where they kind of like
they sell all your everything you
exactly
do is sold
so
to the Illuminati, and then they just turn it into gold somehow.
Yeah, some shit like that, and which is like, it's on another tangent, but like we don't have to get into it, like, but like that's like some other bullshit, but like
we have to get into the Illuminati right now.
Well, that's some old like that could go forever. We could do like
that's a different podcast.
We could do like a 7-part series about that shit, but yeah, like yeah, it's a little annoying, but whatever. Like it doesn't really like grind my gears out a certain way like it does for other people. Like I know some people are really like conspiracy about it, but like having something like that kind of like in the ilk of like a PBS or NPR type of shit.
I mean, I would happily like pay for a subscription to Facebook if I could just not have to deal with anyone's bullshit.
Like,
I think that's just deleting Facebook, but you know.
Yeah, well, if it's like, you know, that'll be the nicest thing, you know. If you like, oh, you no longer get any more game updates or whatever, or some of that like weird bullshit, or like, oh, you like this page, but now you're getting like notifications for like, oh, whenever they go live or some bullshit with some dumb like live video or whatever, and it's just like, I don't need this. I don't need this to be on my notifications. Like,
yeah,
like, and when I see it, when like I see the notifications thing, and I'm like, oh, it's like, you know, from a couple friends or family, and then like I see that, and that pisses me off because I'm like, dude, you're kind of like. It's weird. It's weird I'm saying this because, like, you know, again, not to go on a tangent, but like, you know me, like, you see my email account, like, I don't delete anything on that thing.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Like, so
everything's unread. I don't know how you've never read an email in your life.
Like,
you just
I just go through.
I just guess what they're about and then reply.
Yeah, I just pretty much just like Russian roulette, dude. It's just me with a cigarette. I'm like, all right, hopefully, just send some shit out and hope for the best. Like, no, like obviously, like, you know, through Google, I kind of just start shit that's important and that's it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I filter out. But when it comes to that, you know, I don't play like that on Facebook, so to speak, because I'm like, oh, fuck this. So then, you know, most people would be like, oh, bullshit, and then like try to like block the person, but you know, I'm not like that. So I just take the extra like 2 minutes to just go in my settings and be like, I don't want to see any more of this.
Yeah.
And then be done with it.
That's like every time I get a spam email, and then I like, you know, go through the motion of like hitting the archive button or whatever, send it to the shadow realm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could just one time I took like 30 extra seconds to click the unsubscribe button.
Exactly. You will never.
But no, like I'd rather just deal with hitting archive because I don't want to go at that time any further into it.
Yeah, like it's crazy because like we know people who've done that before, like, and there's been instances where I'm like that, but like then I realize like you said, like it's always just easier to go unclick the subscribe button, like, and the kind of like Facebook equivalent of that is like, you don't want to have that like, because you never know when you're gonna run into this person again, because that's how like, you know, life works sometimes, where like, you know, a person you just like on Facebook and then like just about a happen chance, you know, like they run into you like in the fucking like local Target or whatever, and you're like, oh fuck, like I hope they don't remember that I unblocked them or whatever, or like blocked them or some shit like that. And so like, like here's the thing, like none of this is happening. Like this is all in my head at this point. Like
let me tell you, that happened to me. This is real life story. So there's someone we both know,
right, and
who works at Walmart.
Okay,
I won't name any names here, but you know who I'm talking about.
Right.
So they, you know, years ago, like maybe like even 2 years ago, they sent me a friend request on Facebook, and I was just like, you know, seeing where their life is now, I was just like, yikes! I'm not going to deny it. I'll just leave it in limbo.
Right.
You know?
Right. You're like, you don't want to like, all right, dude. You kind of like kindly saying like, dude, your life is kind of like a mess, like, and I don't want no part of it, but I'm not that type of person that I can just like, because it's stupid when you think about it, because like when you think about social media and stuff like that, it's like it's just all inconsequential. It's like it doesn't matter in the end. Like,
yeah,
you know, you're gonna run into this person maybe once in your lifetime and then never again.
It's just a
like,
new weird social aspect that we have to deal with now.
Right, and so it's fucking funny.
But no, so get this. So like recently,
okay,
I ran into them at Walmart, and you know, did the small talk like, oh yeah,
right.
Blah, blah, blah. But then they were like, oh yeah, I think I sent you a friend request on Facebook, and I was like, really? I don't know, I didn't see it. And then before I could go home and in time to like cancel the friend request, and then you know, so when they go, because you can see it says you've requested them,
right,
and
fuck
you can cancel
Facebook.
that. So they must have gone to my profile, canceled it, sent me another friend request.
Oh god, dude, it's That's so
at that point,
that's so nuts.
At that point, I had to accept. It was like,
no. What's the craziest part about me in that story is like that little nugget where it's like they saw it, they canceled it, and then rescinded it. It's crazy. Like,
I mean, I don't know how exactly it happened on their end, but
right.
that must have been what happened.
Okay, first of all,
like, I'll get this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Cancel.
Yeah.
Request.
Again, I'll show him like, no, dude, it's probably gonna be the same process. Okay, first shout out to the guy or girl or whoever like thought of like, oh, you know what feature people will like to totally see is when people will like read your messages or unread your messages. No, like fuck you, because like I know there's times where you get a Facebook message or like anything really, and it's like you just leave it there. You don't want to deal with it. Like,
well,
but then fucking Facebook chat, because like we know a lot of people who use that more often than like fucking in their phones, which is weird. But like, especially one person that we know, very personally, but they see that, they could see like, oh, this person, like you looked at it and you're like, nah, but like. But that fucking bubble shows like they've seen it, and he's like, "Oh, fuck you," because like now I need to respond to it.
Yeah. So now what we do is just avoid opening the app all day.
Exactly. Like,
so you accidentally open up to it, you're like, "Oh, damn it!"
See, the smart move is like, you go in there and you try like, I don't know about what with your phone, but like I think with my phone, I definitely know because I did it. I kind of changed the chime. Because it's a little too similar to my text message chime, so I just changed it completely. It's something like, something very distinct. Like you can't miss it. So
right.
so that's how I kind of like, and then luckily with the advancements of technology, you kind of see the message before you even like unlock your phone. So you just look at that, and for me, all I need is like the first like half of like the sentence to know whether or not it's something I want to like fuck with. I'm like, okay, all right, no, like. But we all been there. Like we don't say it, but we all done it.
It's one of those things. It's like completely rude,
right.
But we all do it.
Exactly.
Because it's like the more connected we get, the less inconvenienced by each other we want to
be. Exactly. where it's a common thing now, where it's like, it was funny when I don't know what text messaging was the thing, and people were poking fun of it, but now it's like the joke now, which is crazy to me in this day and age, where it's like. I've seen so many memes or like actually like jokes on Twitter and shit like that. People like whoever gets it, like people getting phone calls and like freaking out, like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. Who's calling me? Who calls? Like,
right, yeah,
I'm like,
it's like anxiety.
And I'm like, dude, it's just a fucking, like this person. It's on your call ID. Like, it's not that serious.
And it's crazy too because you used to like look forward to calling your friends.
Yeah.
And like if you got a call, it was like, wow.
Well, unfortunately. By the government standards, we're still kind of like labeled millennials, but like you and me are fortunate enough to like we grown up in the 90s, so we have that time where like, for half of our, like I say our childhood and stuff like that, and then our early adolescence, we didn't have like cell phones or whatever. We still use like our big like stepping stone for, I mean, at least for me, where I felt like, okay, this is like a big stepping stone in my social life, where I'm like, I got a phone book now. I can fucking remember people's phones because that doesn't like signify, because a phone book is whatever, like you can write phone numbers, but the big thing for me was like, oh, my mom's letting me use the phone now. That's a huge thing. Like,
could you imagine kids today
trying
to navigate a phone book? Exactly.
Well, like it's crazy because I see my brother because he has like a bunch of kids, my nieces and my nephew, and he's kind of like going like what the route most parents are, like the smart route, I think anyway, is like kind of giving their hand-me-down phones, but like they're not connected whatsoever to like anything. Like the only thing they're connected to is Wi-Fi, so they got like internet.
Yeah.
And I even think with that, like he goes, so like he puts some parental locks and stuff like that and parental settings to make sure. So. Well, yeah, because like
there's like way too much. The internet's so scary right now.
Well, right, like the internet doesn't give a fuck. Like it's willing to show you everything and anything.
It's like the more time that goes on and the more like advanced shit that happens on the internet, it gets more and more like those cheesy after school specials where they show the like, oh, watch out for online presence.
Yeah.
And then it's just like some overweight guy in his basement.
Yeah.
It's all dingy. Like,
it's crazy. Like, and it's nuts where we don't use the technology for stuff like that. Like I'm surprised, like, you know, I don't see like the McGruff the crime dog or whatever coming into this new generation because of like at least or like something like that where it's like, all right, well these obviously are the dangers and kids are obviously doing is that maybe we could like try to get them when they're younger and let them know like, hey, this is where like these like don't swat or whatever, all that bullshit like.
Yeah, well,
like it. Well, I think it's lost when you're a teenager because like those are it's like you're just dealing with like a fuckhead at that point.
It's kind of a catch-22 because that's what the DARE program tried to be, but the only thing that ever accomplished was introducing kids to all these drugs.
Yeah, like I never had more knowledge about drugs after that DARE program. Like, I could watch Scarface 50 times over and like I will never have the equivalent of the knowledge I gained from DARE.
Yeah, dude, they explain it to you so well. And I honestly never, if not for DARE, I would have never like assumed that people would get high off of like huffing paint. Even.
Right, exactly. Like you
I
never,
from my own experience, I would never even think of that. Like it doesn't seem rational. Like
never.
Oh yeah, let's. I mean, I guess you know.
Yeah, like yeah, you never would think of it though. Like that's the whole thing is it was never introduced in your head, but now that like whole concept is in your head, you're like, oh, and like, you know, some kids take it one way, and some kids go like the bad route where they're like, all right, well, it's a gateway and whatever.
Well, I mean, the problem is like that stuff is easy to get when you're a kid.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's crazy because like, you know, it's funny that we're on this point, but it's like, whenever I see like. You know, films about like urban environments, like Do the Right Thing or whatever, or like or Crooklyn or whatever, like stuff like that. It's like typically, I think the whole concept, like the whole reason why kids get it so easy is because everyone wants to be nice to a kid. Like, well, here's my example.
What do you mean? Kids they can't work. That's why they get it so easy.
Right? No, that's what I mean. Like, but they have to get their first try somewhere. Someone needs to give them that. It's kind of like. Think about it, it's like your first sip of beer. Yeah. It's like you yourself will never ever like go there, like it will never be in your head, but like you see your parents drink it all the time and blah blah blah, and then like eventually like it could be like your mom or dad and be like, hey, whatever.
Like, where did you learn to smoke? From watching you, Dad.
Yeah, some shit like that. It could go that point, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's that whole idea. So like I know plenty of kids who tried like weed or whatever or like other harder stuff at a younger age, and it's typically like, oh, like some bigger dude or some bigger homie on the block like introduced me to it. They were being nice to them by like giving them that first hit, but not and while them being kind of that moment because they probably don't think much of anything because like, oh, whatever, it's kind of like giving a kid like a piece of candy bar or whatever. Right. Like, but like what they don't realize at that point, it's like, oh, I could probably be saying this kid like that's the whole thing. Like for me,
well,
like I'll tell you, like for me, like. Because you know I smoke pot and stuff like that, but like I will never like give a kid their first experience with that stuff because I always feel like that's something with the parents. That's something that the parents need to deal with. Like I want nothing to deal with that minefield. You know what I mean? Like
well, I think that's more so of like responsibility of
right. But like
it, you know, if you're gonna do it, make sure it's a good experience.
Right, but I know some guys like. You know, through high school, there were some guys like, you know, definitely when I got like my first try, like it was typically like a senior or whatever who just like who doesn't care, but he thinks he's being cool and he knows it's something that's like simple. He knows he's not giving me like a major dosage or it's not laced or whatever. Like,
well,
hopefully. But that's what I mean. Like within that, they don't think about the long term effects, and that's what. Like even though I'm being like you could chalk it up, be like, oh, it's just common sense, but for me, it's like no, I kind of think of the long term ramifications. Like. No, this is something you need to deal with because I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be your linchpin. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be.
Well, yeah, I mean
that. Like,
it's just like different though. Like,
right? Like, well, it's different in any area. Like, obviously, those scenarios happen more in urban stuff. Like,
it's like the problem talking about this now is that like for us, anyways, weed's legal.
Right.
So. You know, it's not like you're like, oh, well, I would never give someone their first try of heroin.
Well, yeah,
sure, definitely, exactly, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to like start them on that track to Sweet Lady H or anything like that. But you know what I mean? Like, well, think of it as beer as well. Like, you know, I'm sure there's gonna be moments where like, you know, I'm like, who knows? Like, you know, at someone where like I might find myself like, oh, my niece is interested in trying a sip of like whatever liquor I'm trying. And now I'll find myself an interesting, curious question because, like, you know what? I think it should be, you know, your parents kind of deciding this factor for you because I don't want to be like, but I don't want to be like, hey, I'm the fun uncle, like
I'm the fun uncle. Let's do heroin.
Exactly. Like right. Like I want to be the uncle because like I want to be the because I'm the nerdy one and like you know my nieces are. You know,
okay. I'm not saying like bring a 6-pack over.
I want to share them my interest in like, but the healthy interest. I don't like. Yeah. You know, I mean the stuff that like.
No, that's respectable.
Like vices and stuff like that. Like, because I'm not saying like, you know.
I mean, here's the thing: if somebody's gonna be an alcoholic, it's because
there's some steps that they fucked up.
There's other
along
things
the way
in their life going on.
Yeah, obviously.
If you're giving a family member a sip of beer, I don't think that's where it's like, oh, I remember when I first turned alcoholic when my uncle
Chris,
gave me that
you're
Corona.
not thinking 5 steps ahead, man. You gotta think of the future. See, that's the shit. You didn't learn nothing from Back to the Future, dude. Like, you gotta think about this shit, man. Like, this shit, it has branches, man.
Apparently, you know, if we're going to Back to the Future logic, you can just bang your mom and everything will just turn out all right.
There's some nuggets of knowledge within Back to the Future, but like you don't want to like
no one's gonna
you don't want to take everything
when, like hey, how come my son now looks like that kid that I almost banged in high school?
That's a lot of weird shit. Like
and think about
there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in that series. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna argue with this one.
And then you know like the dad then. Oh, what? His son now looks like this guy, exactly like a guy that they met in high school.
Right.
What is that? What message is that sending?
It was the 80s, man. It was a different time, dude. People were going back in time, making out with their moms, you know, like somehow giving birth to themselves, like.
I don't know.
It's crazy. It's all. If anything, I think the best example of this scenario is probably Futurama, but you know. You can find that episode if you want it. You know, yeah. We're not gonna like discuss it or anything like that here. So, but yeah, it's so yeah. Well, God, I don't know how we ended up with like Facebook and then talking about like
Back to the Future.
Well, yeah, from that, Facebook to like kids and drugs and stuff like that, and then like Back to the Future.
It's all there.
Yeah, it's all it's snake eating its tail. It's all it's all connected at that point.
Facebook and kids doing drugs. That is like
it's hand in hand,
man. You know, perfect metaphor for the time.
Oh God, like, oh yeah, let's make some like very like poignant art of people with like Facebook in their heads or whatever, some bullshit like that.
Have you heard about that Fire Fest thing?
Oh yeah, dude. Who hasn't? Like,
yeah, well, cause, I mean, there you go. Like, it's kids who wanted to go to this music festival, and then
yeah. Well, I mean, I was gonna like say something I probably shouldn't say because like, but like, yeah, it sucks for them. Like, it sucks that they had a horrible time. But yeah, like, first things first, there should have been a couple red flags first. Like, it's like no.
Well, first of all, Ja Rule.
Exactly. I was about to say, like, you don't trust Ja Rule. He lost to Vin Diesel. You don't trust him. Like, you don't trust anybody who lost to Vin Diesel.
And then he was never there. He didn't get Monica.
Exactly. He didn't show up.
He didn't get the three-way, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Like, and he didn't become somehow this tech savant that Ludacris has become.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Well, like, if you're going to bet, you go with Ludacris.
Right.
Don't go with Ja Rule.
If Fire Festival is sponsored by Ludacris, I would be like, okay, I'm a little bit better about this. Like,
yeah, definitely.
But like,
he has too much to lose. What does Ja Rule have to lose? Nothing.
So
he already lost the three-way.
Exactly. Fucking Monica ain't coming back. She ain't coming back. But,
although she did say it was his either way. So does he even want Monica? She sounds flaky.
No, I mean, well, the thing about he just lost, man. So I think he needs something. He needs to pick me up. So
well, yeah. But she was like, "This is yours, whether you win or lose."
Oh, that's what I mean. Like, he's like, "Fuck, I got my ass blown by like fucking Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, and Paul Walker's a cop." Like,
I'm a cop.
It's like, well, at least, even though, like, because he's not gonna like have a long-term relationship with Monica. We never see this branch in the Fast and Furious saga. Chris.
That's why I want to see the Ja Rule story. Like, where does his story go?
Chris, no one doesn't want to see the Ja Rule story. I'm just letting you know right now, man. No one wants to see that.
I'm just saying, like, everyone else came back.
Like
even Hector. Hector was there. They brought him back. Oh, except
fuck yeah, they brought back Hector. Holy
crap. The only guy who you don't hear from again is the other dude in their crew. So there's like the dude who got shot. Obviously, that's where his story ends.
You mean this is the craziest thing? It's funny thing you just said that. Like, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, the guy who got shot up, that was his brother. Like, no one's remember that. Like,
that wasn't his brother
who got shot up. Like,
no,
he fucked up. Like, he lost. Like,
yeah, that wasn't his brother.
Wasn't his brother?
No, because he's talking about how his dad's in prison.
Oh, okay. Maybe, so maybe he meant like little brother metaphorically, like
yeah, like their family.
Right. You know how Vin Diesel is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Let me tell you though, like if you go back and watch the original Fast and Furious, like the girls are, I mean, it sucks to say they're just not looking good. Like they didn't do their makeup good, especially in the first few scenes. You're like, well, you see Michelle Rodriguez there, and you're like.
You could definitely tell those movies. You could definitely tell like Fast and Furious 1 was definitely made on a budget. Like it didn't have like Fast and Fast and Furious 2 maybe had a little bit bigger of a budget than Fast and Furious 1, but definitely wasn't at the levels of like I wouldn't say even 3 was the same like budget wise, but like for some reason, God, I don't know how Vin Diesel got this influx of money or some shit like that, but like they just decided to put all their money in fucking the next Fast and Furious, and then like shit took off from there. Like. Even though people say like the fourth one isn't like the best one.
Well, that's what I mean. The fourth one changed the format.
Right. It made it more like of a heist type of like cannonball type of like movie.
Like, you know, which is fine. I still enjoy the movies, but it's just kind of shitty.
Right.
Because like, you know, the first 3 movies, like, yeah, there are other hijinks going on, but it's kind of like trying to stay centered around underground street racing.
Right.
And now they're just like the A-Team.
Well, yeah, they pretty much are. They're like fucking G.I. Joe on the road. Like, fucking for God's sakes, like Hobbs, who's supposed to be the cop trying to get them, is now a part of a crew?
Yeah, I don't know. I still haven't seen the last one, but I'm like, wait, why is he in prison? Did I miss something?
I didn't see the last one either, so like I'm missing a couple of beats there. But you know what I mean? Like, it's weird stuff like that. It's like anything goes really. Like now Shaw is part of the crew because unfortunately, certain events happen. We can't really.
Yeah, but I mean, even with like that's the one that doesn't make sense the most because like okay, so he's just trying to kill them in the last movie. This isn't that far.
Well, from what I hear in this latest one, they actually they try to give you a reason why. Like okay, like because like from what I hear like. Within the mythos, I'm not gonna hopefully I'm not spoiling anything. Like, him and Shaw, like Vin Diesel and Shaw, like from what I hear in the movie, they have more like of a rivalry than like a partnership. It's definitely not like Goku or Vegeta. Well, I think you could say more like Goku Vegeta because Vegeta started hating Goku, and that was the whole thing that drove him. And then like eventually, they still hung out and like. They're definitely not same buddy pal like Vegeta and Goku now, or like within the new series Dragon Ball Z. But like, they're like, all right, I respect you, but like, anything you do, I'll probably I'll come after you or whatever, some bullshit like that. Like, it's still kind of on thin ice. So, but I don't know. Like when I read that stuff from reviews, I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. They don't
Fast and Furious 9, thin ice.
Yeah, some bullshit like that. Like I know it's gonna be something dumb like that. I know, like
race to the center of the earth.
It's definitely gonna be a play on like Fast and Furious. Like that's definitely their whole thing. Like
yeah, I mean, how many different iterations can they make?
I don't know.
I thought
they're going to be
doing at
10.
Their maximum at Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. I mean, once I saw the title, I'm like, it's hard to top that, really.
Yeah. Like, I was like, well, just quit.
It doesn't matter the quality of the film. It's probably going to be really fucking hard to top the title alone. But then, I thought Fast 5 was a pretty good title.
And
like that was pretty dumb.
Yeah, but like it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the best one because it doesn't make any sense. Like it's like the Han like titles. It's like Han. You kind of like are the thing that who keeps the whole thing together, and it's like, but it's super dumb. It's like your whole purpose is really dumb, but it's like it's important. Like you gotta have those dumb titles because it's like I mean like the Fate Like the fate was the latest one's like the Fate of the Furious, or whatever.
Yeah, the Fate of the Furious.
It's like what the fuck? Like,
well, because I mean,
they can't call it Fast 8. Like,
they could, or they could just say.
Honestly, they could call it whatever the fuck. Like,
yeah, they could say
as long
whatever
as,
the fuck.
Like they
and
could,
the Furious.
They could literally like just start like making up shit with like Fast and Furious. Like, oh the super sick, fast, crazy, furious dudes. Like they could say that, and people will still be okay with it because they know what's gonna be happening. Like,
it just doesn't make.
It's some bullshit like that. It doesn't matter though. That whole series doesn't make any sense. Well,
it does.
I mean, after Tokyo Drift, it didn't make any more sense.
Dude, the best thing about them bringing it full circle to Tokyo Drift is that the kid in the movie is supposed to be 17.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're now like how many years later?
Yeah, chronologically, we're supposed to be in the early 2000s.
Yeah. So like, if they, if they included him in future movies, it'd be like, huh, you just aged 10 years in like one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what the hell just happened to your face, man? Like, what happened? Like, movies.